Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 21st of 2022, and ever since the very end of the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 7, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have truly been looking forward to the future of the Star Wars universe by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, and other creators coming on board like Peyton Reed, and other new directors that will be joining The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka Tano series, and more. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So it's even all the more exciting right now is that we are just getting closer to the release of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, and we're also getting closer to the point where The Mandalorian Season 3 is going to end filming by late March. As long as they stay on schedule and stay on track, that's what Jon and Dave are planning to do, to actually end principal photography by the very end of March. So that, of course, leaves us with The Mandalorian Season 4 and exactly what's to come for the characters of Din Djarin, Grogu, Luke Skywalker, and more. Now, we already had discussed this before in the past, that Mando Season 4 is intentionally aimed to become the fourth and final season of the series, but it's not going to be called Season 4 per se. It's going to have its own title. It's going to be The Mandalorian with a subtitle blank blank blank, whatever it may be. So on top of all of this, what's really exciting about everything related to what George, Jon, and Dave have been doing with the Mandoverse is that they really are looking at great aspects from Star Wars Legends to mix it in with the new. And we already saw of how they incorporated a lot of Star Wars Legends into both Mando Season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett. If you look very, very carefully in the background, there's a lot of references here and there. However, what's even all the more exciting is that with both Disney and Lucasfilm now getting ready to begin filming the Ahsoka Tano TV series, both Jon and Dave Filoni are also preparing to begin work on The Mandalorian Season 4, also once they wrap filming for Season 3. Now, it's described, however, that Jon and Dave are set to make a film that's going to be a very important scene for the actual Mandalorian Season 4 series for 2023 that is now all storyboarded and finalized to be added into the script of the series. So this entire, filmmaking of a scene for The Mandalorian Season 4 is going to involve a lot of your fan favorite characters. One of the major scenes is set to involve the progress of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple getting built up each season of Mando, where it is actually said that each season of Mando is said to show the progress of Skywalker's Academy getting built up, while also having, of course, additionally 2 temples across the entire galaxy. The scene between both Luke and Din is described to involve Din Djarin showing Skywalker the dark saber. Now, Din is set to provide Skywalker the dark saber for him to examine this great and legendary weapon of the Mandalorians that was once constructed by a Mandalorian who was also a Jedi known as Tar Vizsla. Now, Luke is described to ignite the dark saber in this scene that takes place inside of his Jedi training temple on this mysterious world, where Luke is set to give Din Djarin a full-on history lesson about the character known as Tar Vizsla. So, I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you guys listened very carefully, I'm sure you already did, in the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 5, alright, the Armorer talks about Tar Vizsla, alright, the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi, and the one who constructed the dark saber. What's really interesting about this is that what they are going to do in Mando Season 4, so I digress. Both Jon and Dave are going to be using a flashback scene very familiar and similar to what they did in the Book of Boba Fett, showing the destruction of Mandalore. However, this sequence is going to be a moment where both Luke and Din talk to each other that is going to share and show a Tar Vizsla flashback actually constructing the darksaber piece by piece in the form of a scene like this. This scene specifically is described to create a backstory for the Mandalorian who became a Jedi, and how this lesson by Skywalker is going to connect to Din Djarin on how he could possibly follow the same path as Tar Vizsla. Now, this is where things begin to really pick up, because we already know that there's a lot of, hints and teases in both Mando Season 2 and especially in the Book of Boba Fett now, between that conversation of the Armorer and Mandalorian as a character. Now, this is where things begin to pick up. Now, both John and Dave are planning to have Luke inform that Din Djarin is indeed Force-sensitive and could follow the way of the Jedi if he wanted to. This is something that both John and Dave are trying to actually involve for The Mandalorian Season 4 by touching into how Din Djarin will have a Force sensitivity in the series, and how it's going to set things up for the second half of Season 4. Season 4 of Mando is already described to be longer than both Season 2 and 3, that will provide more screen time not just for Luke than ever before, and more quests for Din Djarin, but more screen time for Grogu as well once again. Now, this scene is set to begin filming sometime by early 2023, and that is getting ready to be written into the script for the 4th and final season of Mando. Now, though John and Dave are going to tease that Mando is Force-sensitive in Season 4, it's unclear if he will really become a Jedi or not, just like Tar Vizsla many years ago. It's described that Jon Favreau made it intentional for the armorer in the Book of Boba Fett to mention Tar Vizsla to set things up for Din Djarin's Force sensitivity in Mando Season 4, and his training with the darksaber in the show. Now, one of the big moments cuts back to Luke Skywalker actually retracting the darksaber blade and handing it back to Mando, and providing him yet another lesson as they sit inside of the Jedi training temple. Now, that's one thing that I think John and Dave are very talented with, is that Chapter 5, by far, I think it was probably the best episode. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the episode Chapter 6 with Luke Skywalker and Grogu and Din and Ahsoka on that mysterious world that is the home of Luke's Jedi Temple. But there's something so rich, something so original, something so unique about Chapter 5, of how it brings us to that ring world. Alright, we already know that Jon Favreau took a lot of inspiration from the Halo video game series and kind of incorporated that world into Star Wars. You guys may or may not have noticed that reference. Go ahead and look up that Halo video game if you're not familiar with the art of that. But John actually did take inspiration from the ring world in that series to implement it into Star Wars. And you know what? It worked, because what we saw in The Mandalorian, or should I say, the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, it was basically like a ring world with the Coruscant vibe to it, and I loved it. Now, that is where we got the full-on training between Din, the armorer, and the other Mandalorian, and we had, of course, all these different aspects in there thrown in. It was a very interesting way to kind of just make things very unique, and to have Mando Season 4 using Luke Skywalker to provide Din Djarin a lesson. This is where things begin to get a little bit more creative now. You can see how they really are using Luke Skywalker in a very smart way, you know? I know that a lot of fans want to see Luke Skywalker in action, battling bad guys, and that's what we are going to be getting in Mando Season 4 still, with, of course, Grand Admiral Thrawn's forces. But the thing that really does satisfy us the most is Luke Skywalker's wisdom, and witnessing that wisdom that we did not get in The Last Jedi, or even in The Rise of Skywalker at that. You know, it's something that really needs to be done effectively and rather smoothly to really kind of make up for what we did not get in the sequel trilogy movies. Again, Mando Season 3 is really going to be the setup for what's to come big in Mando Season 4, because still, as of right now, the 4th season is going to be considered the final season of Mando, which might be unfortunate to some fans out there, but I think, you know, it's a good idea. Overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.